How are you now? I'm James Whelan, occasional talking head for smallcaps.com.au, and today on the network I am joined by Richard Homsany, non-executive chair of Redstone Resources. Well, first off, Richard, welcome to the Small Caps Network, and it's great to have you here to update us on Redstone Resources.
Thanks, James, for the invitation. Great to be here.
Now, we're going to get straight into it. The company's flagship project is the West Musgrave copper project in WA, and you've just wrapped up a significant deep diamond drilling program at the Tollu deposit. Today, what I want to talk to you about, and so that we can try or get a little bit more across it, is the strategy behind that program, your expectations, and what is next for Redstone. That doesn't sound too difficult. We can get through a few Q&As. You're definitely the guy to talk to, though, and I think we'll get to that as well.
Fantastic.
Okay. Now, for viewers and listeners who are new to Redstone Resources, why don't you just start with a quick overview, what you do, and what are your key projects?
Yeah, so we're out in the West Musgrave region of Western Australia, and that has a similar geological setting to that of the Voisey Bay deposit in Canada, which is one of the world's richest nickel, copper, cobalt deposits. So the discovery of BHP's world-class Nebo-Babel just 60 kilometres to the west of us is a similar style of deposit to Voisey's Bay. So it's proof that our project, our Tollu prospect, is proof that the high prospectivity for Voisey's Bay style mineralisation is in the region. We believe that our structural setting at Tollu, at West Musgrave, has got the potential to produce a more high-grade, massive sulphide like Voisey's Bay than the mostly lower grade disseminated sulphide at Nebo-Babel, so we're excited.
Did you want to talk a bit more about the geological setting as to why it's at its location? Why is it strategically important and relevant to that particular region?
Yeah, so we're out in a big system, area with big systems, so we hope to host big deposits and hope that they're on our tenement, and our drilling to date has given us encouragement in that area. So Tollu so far has proven to be a high-grade copper vein deposit. However, we think Tollu is the signature of a remobilisation of copper from a Nebo-Babel or Voisey's Bay magmatic nickel-copper cobalt style deposit deep below Tollu, and that's the basis of our exploration model. To date, we've got about 38,000 tonnes of copper and just over 500 tonnes of cobalt. So the evidence of cobalt is also a significant indicator that we're in the right rocks.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, you mentioned some grades before. Anything that you can let us know about that might be worth talking?
Yeah, look, we've had significant high-grade copper mineralisation at our project to date. And, you know, that mineralisation is both shallow and it's deep. Our highest grade intersection so far at Tollu has been 1 metre at 18%, and that's within a broader section. You know, this 18% was no fluke. We've had extremely high grade and continuous copper mineralisation from surface to significant depths. Some of that, for example, we've encountered 11 metres at 1.2% copper from 29 metres, but down from 427 metres, we've had 3.4% copper over 10 metres, and that includes 5 metres at 5.3%. So it's both shallow and deep. Some other examples are that 1 metre at 18.5% that I mentioned before. That was within a broader intersection of 8 metres at 4.1%. And at Forio, one of our other prospects within the Tollu copper veins, we've got 34 metre thick copper being always over 1% copper. So we do have a very significant inventory of high-grade copper results.
So we know that there's copper out there, there's no question about that. How much and how deep and that is. Now, you recently drilled a deep diamond hole.
Yes.
Spent a little bit extra, the TLD 005 at Chatsworth project.
Yep.
Which is within Tollu. What was the primary objective of the hole? What are you expecting out of that?
Again, as I was saying, out there, they're big systems, so we expect to encounter big deposits. So the aim of that hole was to go beneath the high-grade Tollu copper mineralisation for evidence that that is remobilised copper from a deeper Voisey's Bay style high-grade magmatic-massive sulphide copper-nickel deposit at depth. So that's what we tested for, and that's what our exploration model is based, that this expression of copper in veins represents that remobilisation of copper preferentially leached by hydrothermal fluids from a large, massive sulphide accumulation below that's hosted within a mafic magmatic intrusion at depth.
Okay, so and the program was aimed to test. So We're calling it a Voisey's Bay style
Yeah.
massive sulphide system. Do you want to just touch a little bit more onto that, why that system is so exciting?
Yeah, Voisey's Bay, as I said, is one of the world's richest nickel, copper, cobalt deposits, and it's got over 130 million tonnes of ore. And BHP's 100% owned Nebo-Babel, 60 kilometres to our west, the discovery of that is also evidence that we've got Voisey's Bay-style rock settings that enable us to remain optimistic for finding something similar on our tenement. So we drilled deep. We went just short of 1,200 metres. We're still waiting for geochemistry results from the lab to confirm our geological observations. We're not currently in a position to comment on these yet because these results are imminent.
Okay.
We anticipate we should have them within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And we will be looking for geochemical or mineralogical indicators of nickel, copper, cobalt, but it's not just the mafic rocks. We've also found that on our tenements, we also have mafic, ultramafic and layered intrusions in our northeastern corridor. That gives us, like I said, a lot of optimism that we are in the right geological settings.
I think that maybe for some of the more geologically illiterate people that are out there, aka myself, did you want to run through what that actually represents?
Yeah, so look, just to the west of us, we've got BHP's deposit that's got 1.3 million tonnes of contained copper and 1.2 million tonnes of contained nickel. Now that is a world-class deposit in the same settings that we've got on our tenement. So just in terms of a pure what potential there is, that gives you that potential. You know, up at Voisey's Bay, there's 130 million tonnes of ore. Because that's got more massive sulphide accumulation than Nebo-Babel, you're getting more metal out of the same ore, but same amount of ore. But what it's saying to potential investors and to our existing shareholders is that we've got these systems, we've got these settings for these prospective magmatic targets on our land. And if we want to discuss what potential follow-up drilling, so beyond this deep diamond hole, we've also got funding, and we'll touch on that in a minute, to do another co-funded grant from the government to do another diamond hole beneath Tollu to explore a different target. And also subject to funding, we have this northeast corridor that's got these fantastic magnetic anomalies and prospective magnetic targets, and we would drill outside of Tollu on these targets as well, not just below the Tollu veins, but in these other targets that we've got to the northeast. We've already proven with limited drilling, and why these targets are so good is that they've not been adequately tested yet. With very limited drilling, we've already shown that we've got the types of magmatic intrusions, or neritic gabbro for those who understand geology, that we're looking for, and we haven't adequately tested them. So again, that outside of drilling beneath for Voisey's Bay style, we've also under Tollu, we've also got these targets in the northeast corridor.
Okay, and so that's the reverse circulation drilling around Chatsworth and Forio, right?
Correct.
What's the timeline for that?
Well, we would be looking what our next program might look like. We think we are inclined to do a second diamond hole, but if we don't do that and take advantage of the grant, we would try and drill those in the next few months, but certainly before, May, June next year. We would be out on the ground as soon as we could, say in October up to Christmas, or if not, we would go back out in March of next year.
Okay, and that's the EIS grant from the WA grant. Did you want to go into that?
200,000, yes. So we've got
220,000. Let's
Correct.
make sure that we got that. That's right.
Yes,
Okay.
so it's a significant grant, and we're grateful to the state government for that grant. Because we're drilling holes in a vastly unexplored area, the government is keen to incentivise drilling. We, for every dollar we spend, we get up to $220,000 back. So if we spend $440, we get $220,000 back towards our drilling costs, and we would use that to test a second target for Voisey's Bay style mineralisation underneath Tollu.
Okay.
On top of that, because we've got a research and development focus on these holes as well, there's federal R&D rebates available, so it makes recouping the cost of a diamond hole, it mitigates the cost of of a diamond hole where we get up to 70% of our money back. So it is a really fantastic thing that we've got the grant in addition to the research and development rebate at federal level.
It's so important for small players
Yes.
like yourself. Well, eventually a big player, I think, but to get to that, you've got to get a few things out of the way first. What are the plans for the next 3 to 6 months?
So, yeah, we would look at designing a program to test that northeastern corridor, and we would also look at when we could fit in the deep diamond hole. That's something that we're thinking about bringing forward. So it depends on whether we do one or both, diamond or RC. We may even do both, depending on what our funding position looks like. So we're not going to remain idle. We're keen to get the money into the ground and put that money to work.
So we've got potential assays out. We've got the next 3 to 6 months of more drilling, potentially more underneath
Yes.
it. See what else we've got around there, and we should be okay to get us to that particular place. A lot to incentivise holders and potentially new investors as well, which is great. Yourself, though, a little bit off the cuff here, Richard. You've got quite a pedigree of companies, and an amazing history and amazing track record. For a small company and a minimal board like this, what is your own capacity with this? What does that bring to the table?
Yeah, so look, I've had significant experience at board level with resource companies and at executive level also. And my focus has always been on explorers and emerging producers. So at exploration level, I'm always keen to put our money to work in the ground. So all of our exploration efforts in my time on the boards, we've always had very targeted, cost-effective programs. So that's something that Redstone is very good at. We have a very low cash burn. Our admin spend is minimal, and most of our money is gone to these cost-effective, targeted programs that are looking for minerals that the world wants, in particular copper. Has very good sentiment at the moment, so it's a great time to be exploring for copper in an area where we've already shown that we've got high-grade copper. Again, copper up to 18% over a metre. That's our highest grade, but certainly a number of copper results of over 2-3%, both shallow and deep. And what's great about that is that we know that this copper could be an expression of something bigger and better and richer beneath it. The right rocks are there. We've got the hint of cobalt, which is what you want to see to try and get to these big systems that I keep talking about. And yeah, we're very confident that we've seen sulphide accumulation on our deposit at a target, or a deposit target that we drilled at called EM5. We've had a hint of big, long, thick sections of lower grade copper in our northeastern corridor, and we're very keen to see what the next drill program reveals, because we keep finding it. We just think that the holy grail might be there somewhere if we keep being persistent and disciplined.
All right. Well, the first news, the ongoing news is going to be out within the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. Right place, right minerals, potentially the right time as well for investors. So, Non-Executive Chairman of Redstone Resources, Richard Homsany, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks very much for your time, James.
I'm James Whelan, and you've been watching Small Caps.